Good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time of day it is in your vicinity. It's actually 1:11 p.m. here in Suffolk, Wednesday afternoon, on the 17th of April 2024. And I've received today two fantastic items that I won on eBay. Two theatre programmes for the Grand Order of Water Rats. And these two shows are at the Sparrow's Nest Theatre in Lowestoft, which is a theatre that unfortunately isn't there anymore. It was knocked down many years ago. Lovely theatre. I have played it. I must have been about 12 or 11 in a little children's band. We played there. It was a one-level theatre. So these are midnight matinees, rat shows. And we're going to look at them because they're very interesting. We'll come to that one. First one is 1975. And in aid of the Grand Order of Water Rats and Lowestoft Rotary Club charities. Friday the 29th of August, 75. So let's open up this programme. Gala Midnight Matinee. So organised by Charles Lane, Brian Solomon, Les Rock. Don't know those. Now, there's a lot of names here that I don't know. And I'm sure Brother Water Rats, because by the way, I am a water rat. And that's why I've got great interest in this. And I'm sure some Brother Water Rats will be surprised I don't know some of these names. But I think probably some are local people that I don't know. And I could research all of these names so I know who they are. But I thought I'll keep it natural and just be honest if I don't know who they are. Obviously, there's some very big names here and friends here as well. So we've got an overture from the orchestra. So when it says Sparrow's Nest Company, I presume it's like local people. Obviously a duo, Gene and Rex Lear. Unlimited Love. Now these were performing at the ABC summer season at the time. I presume they were probably a dance group. Jimmy Jacobs. Don't know him. This is somebody who my friend John Randolph Sutton would have probably got in. We'll come to him later because he's involved with this. Actually, maybe he wasn't involved with this one. Yes, he was, yes. I'll come to him in a second. The late John Randolph Sutton. Brother Water Rat. David and Pauline Conway, Sparrow's Nest Company, obviously a local thing. Dickie Henderson, well, the great Dickie Henderson, comedian, actor, all-round entertainer. Wellington Pier he was performing at. And I think he died actually quite young. He departed Earth in his 60s, in the mid-80s, I believe. So he was working on Wellington, another theatre that's no longer there. Here we are, Randolph Sutton Jr. This is John Randolph Sutton. His agency was RJ Entertainments, and he would have been quite a young man then in 76. I would have been 4. He would have been probably in his 30s or 40s, I don't know. So John came on to introduce Dick Emery, and Dick was playing. Now, the ABC, this is interesting, Matt. Well, I didn't think of this as I looked at this before I started filming this video. I went to that show with my nanny and auntie, Dick Emery show, Len Lowe, and it was 76. I remember Dick Emery running about the audience dressed as a lady. And unless he came back a couple of years later in 78 or 79, I would have been young, 76, wouldn't I? I wonder if he came back in the late 70s and I saw that show. But I definitely saw Dick Emery at the Wellington. Then we have Oliver. This is a musical section with local people. Bewildering Zodias. Sounds like a magic act. And obviously put on by John, RJ Entertainments. Bobby Bragg. Is this Billy's brother? I don't think so. Sparrow's Nest. Jackie Gaytone. Again, Sparrow's Nest Company. Now, to finish the first half, we have the great Leslie Crowther. I love Leslie Crowther. And he was working at the ABC. Would he have been on with Dick? I don't know. I presume these were all sort of tagged from the summer season that year. Kung Fu. So the second half Kung Fu dancing thing. Frankie Holmes, don't know. Henry Cooper, the boxer, he obviously came on to introduce the next act, probably. Lorna Dallas. Now, I did look up. Lorna Dallas was the only one I looked up, actually, because I thought, I don't know why I looked her up. Now, I wonder if it's the same Lorna Dallas here. She's American, and she was in that Flight 93 about the 9/11 attacks, an actress. But I wonder if she was a singer and appeared in the UK on some of the shows. If anybody can confirm if it's the same Lorna Dallas, well, I can't say her name, I do not know. Lorna Dallas. She was on the Britannia. Bert Whedon, fellow guitarist. There was a time when only Bert and I were the only two instrumentalists on the circuit. He was at the ABC. Peter Goodright, Wellington Pier. John Warwick and Barbara Jackson, Galston Pavilion, which is still going. Now, and the great Billy Dainty, who ended up this show, and he was from the Britannia Pier. So the compares were Jimmy Jacobs and Randolph Sutton, John Sutton. And there we go, we've got thank yous, etc. So that's that show. Isn't it great to have these? These probably should be in the museum, because we have a Water Rats museum, but I'll keep them here for now. And let's have a look at the second one. Now, the second one is... Oh, no, that was 1975, not 76. So I reckon Dick Emery I did see in late 70s, 79. This is 76. Sparrow's Nest Theatre, Lowestoft, Midnight Matinee. Water Rats. These are 20p, these programmes. Now, I recently produced a Water Rats show in Great Yarmouth at the St George's Theatre, and we didn't actually have a programme. We should have had a programme made, because they go down in history, don't they? And people will be reading them decades on like I am now. We had a great show in Great Yarmouth. We had Rick Wakeman, Steve Hewlett, Ian Richards, Steve Barclay. David couldn't make it. Myself, Rolo, Nina Hewlett, Mike Martin. We also had Ross Lee, Joe Pasquale, Mark Porter, Paul Adams. And that was fantastic. So we're still doing the Water Rat shows. Back to these ancient ones. So, John's involved here again. John Sutton and Brian Solomon. So, overture, we've got the band. I Believe in Love, the Lisa Gay Dancers. Sparrow's Nest. Now, here George Martin. Now, George Martin, past King Rat, is the father of my very good friend, Mike Martin, who is Scribe Rat, who has been for many years in the Grand Order of Water Rats. And I am actually assistant scribe to the scribe, Mike Martin. George Martin, the casual comedian, and he's just there. There's no explanation. That's all you need, George Martin. So he did a spot in the first half. Potpourri. Dancers, you reckon? Roger Dean, Vicky Lane, Alan Christie. Jack Tripp, Bad Habits. Leslie Adams, Chris North, and Jill, put on by... Now, Chris North is a local magician. He must have been very young there. Tramps, Jack Tripp. Ken Goodwin, the comedian. He was at Wellington. Interval, Raffle, drawn by Anne George. And Caroline Dowdswell of Crossroads. Good old days from the Jack Tripp show. Celebrity spot and presentation. Wayne King, ABC Yarmouth. Mike Lancaster, fantastic comedian, who was a staple performer throughout all the summer shows in Yarmouth and all the other seaside resorts throughout the 70s and 80s. Probably 90s. Keith Harris, the ventriloquist. Orville. And... I can't remember the monkey's name. Not Chuckles. What was the monkey's name? Steve Hewlett, help me out. Chuckle. No! Anyway, I'll move on. If not, I'll be sitting here trying to work out monkeys' names. The great Keith Harris. I saw Keith at the Britannia Pier, funny enough. Again, that would have been 76, probably a few years on. And the Monarchs. Programme subject to alteration. I mean, we had that on ours as well. You can see there it says... Artist appearing may be substituted due to unforeseen circumstances or TV commitments, because it's a charity show and no one's under contract, so things can change. And we can have surprise guests. Like I said, Joe Pasquale turned up, so that wasn't billed, so things can change. Bonnie Barron, these are thank you to these people. Jack and Peter J. Jack J was Water Rat. All these different people here. Probably some local people. Andrew Willows. I knew Andrew. A few stories about Andrew. There we are. So, I think these are amazing. Great to keep. Souvenirs. Because I am quite local to this area. Sparrow's Nest Theatre, which is no longer, as I said before. I think there's a little bit of the building left they used for like a cine club or something. Camera club. It was a lovely place. So why did they knock it down? There we are. Grand Order of Water Rats, Sparrow Theatre, 1975, 1976. Hope you enjoyed a look at these programmes. All the very best.